Hey everyone, this is kind of part 2 to my other video about the secret garden. That day I came around, I like to walk our property several times a year. I try to do it more in the colder months because you don't have to deal with all the snakes and the overrun of ticks and chiggers and everything else, even though I still got a tick and a couple jiggers back here that day, even though it was so windy. I actually was talking the entire time, but the wind was you couldn't hear anything because I don't talk too loud. If I sound loud now, it's because I'm literally sitting on top of my phone. So I decided to just voice it over. Here I'm just going into the woods. I thought this was like a tent. And back here, it turned out it's a fallen down tree. And then when I got back there, I realized I fell for the same thing last year. I don't know why I keep falling for it, but I do. It's just the way it looks. It looks like a tent. But anyway, just a little bit about our property. This here is what we call our farm side now. Our property is shaped like a number 7. For some reason, I used to say it's an upside down backwards L. Well, I don't know why. Like, sometimes my brain cells don't work. And then one day, a while back, I was like, why do I say that? Why don't I just say it's shaped like a 7? So it's just under, I think, 38 acres, but there's some deer that kind of scared up back here. There's 2 of them back there. But I don't know if I caught both of them on film, but there were 2 of them. But either way, I think it's like I said, just under 38 acres or just under 37 acres. I can't remember. But I like to just come back just because we have a huge problem with people trespassing. Back here on this property, on the other side of that ditch there to your left is a sod farm. We don't own that. That fool is trying to put like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses and mixed use houses and townhomes and crap like that on that property, and then across that there's like I don't know, we call it a highway, but it's not really. It's a large roadway that kind of cuts through between the 2 states, and over on the other side as well, hundreds and hundreds. So we've been fighting that for a long time. Everyone's been fighting it. They've been trying since like 2004 to get this approved, and that guy files bankruptcy. He owes so many people so much money. He files bankruptcy on everything he ever does. I can't even imagine the crap that they would build out there at this point, because he don't pay anyone. So he just lost his other business again. Like, I don't know. Anyway, there's that. But this comes up through here. I'm pointing out that if you'll see it really quick, a boot print next to mine. There's that one that was next to my left foot. That's not ours. That's an indication that someone has been back there since it snowed. And it just annoys me because I get so ticked off that people trespass, especially as many signs as we have. And the reason why we do that is because we did find a deer cam back in the fall back here by the pond that isn't ours. And or wasn't ours, so now I have myself a second deer cam. And yeah, so we ended up putting up more signs, and we do know someone's illegally hunting property down the road, and I did get their tag number and their picture of their car, and next time they're down there and I see them out there, I'm going to let them know, don't ever cross my property again, or they might not find you anymore. Here is our pond. This part here, I was explaining that it was really deep because we had it dredged out years ago because we had horses, and we used to bring them back here and put them on cross ties and swim them and give them exercise. Over on the other side of the pond where you can see it's kind of bright, I planned to plant some wildflowers and sunflowers. I've already bought all the seeds. I didn't want to go over on the other side to show you because the people that are on the other side of the ditch over there, they have dogs that they just let run. When they let them out, they're just running, and I didn't feel like dealing with them today or that day, when I was back there. So, but yeah, that's our pond. It is stocked with fish. We have bass and perch and sunfish, whatever, back there. So that's pretty fun. I haven't fished back there in over a year because I don't really need a new rod. I need a good reel. The reel, I just bought rods, like just cheap stuff back in the day for the kids. So they're the rods that once you get a fish on them, you have to pull the string up because it won't reel them. It's so dumb. But anyway, I just really need new reels. So the poles are fine. I'm looking back here because I'm sitting out the cemetery recording this right now, and there is a hawk sitting on the fence. So hopefully he's still there when I get done this. But either way, back here, these are all tax ditches. The state is actually supposed to cut all this stuff out, and they haven't been doing that, which is fine through here. I think this ditch here might not actually be a tax ditch, but around the back side it is, and they haven't been doing it. So it's so grown over, I couldn't get through there. And plus I knew I was having surgery. Now that hawk sat there that whole time. Oh, there he is again. I was going to say, and then all of a sudden he decides to fly away. But anyway, but back around this back corner, they haven't been cutting it. So I didn't want to walk through there because I knew I was having, because this was on a Saturday and I was having my surgery that coming Wednesday. So I didn't want to get like anything, chiggers or anything like that. It did end up with a tick and a couple chiggers, but we always have medication for that stuff anyway. So I just put that on there so that I could hurry up and get rid of them, because they won't do your surgeries if you have that. And then, I didn't know I had a tick on me until after my surgery. It was like the day after my surgery, in bed, and my leg was itching, and I was like, what is that on my leg? And I looked and there was a tick. I was like, what the heck? These are all junk piles that were there before purchase of the property years ago. As I was walking around back here, the ground was so soft and spongy. I was afraid I was going to fall in. And I was like, that is really weird that that explains why some of these trees are falling though. Because we've had a lot of trees over the years fall. But we are in an area that's prone, we have low-lying areas in our state, so prone to sinkholes. So I thought, oh my gosh, I'm home by myself. My phone was almost dead at this point, so I was really afraid I was going to like fall into a sinkhole or something. So I said, I'm going to get out of there. But I had intended to go all the way through and up those trees there, but I decided not to do that because the further I went up towards the front, it just got softer and softer. So, but yeah, this takes you back around to other edge. Over to the left is the other property, and again, they want to put a bunch of homes that's owned with the sod farm. They want to put homes there. All through there, and that's where the people, it's to the right now of us, they're crossing over because they're legally hunting that property. Anyway, I like coming out into the woods. It's just, to me, it's peaceful. And I don't know if I already said this, but I don't go back here by myself. I always have a concealed carry with me. Some woodpecker holes in this log here, but I always have a concealed carry with me. Our state does allow open carry, but I just keep it in my little thing. It's strapped to the front of me in like a bag that I kind of created for myself. But yeah, I don't know, I just like being back there. It was really windy that day. You can't tell it on the video, but it was kind of cold and everything, so I thought, I'll do this today before it warms up. Before you know it, it'd be summertime. And I'm gonna see if my nephew-in-law will come out. I realized that he did tell me he ran out of, because he's the one that put up the new signs for us in the fall, and he told me he ran out. So down this path he ran out, and he couldn't take them all the way back towards the sod farm to put up. So I'm gonna see if he'll put those up for me. These are just some of another path. That's our pile. We have some fence posts in there. We actually use that for scrap lumber. Like if you need scrap lumber, we just pull from that. Need to replace that sign there. But inside that fence, our horse likes to be in these trees here. That's where he likes to live at. He does have a barn in the pasture. He does not want to go in there. He can go in and out of there anytime he wants to. He hates it. He's never liked to be confined for whatever reason. We had 2 horses. We had to have one put down in 2016. They were not originally ours. About close to 19 years now ago, because my son was about 3 weeks old, and he'll be 19 in March 24th. So a friend of my husband's could no longer have horses because of his job that he had gotten as a professional gambler in Kentucky. You're not allowed to own stuff like that, so he was supposed to be boarding them, and they dropped them off and never paid and never came back for them, and we've just had them ever since. This is where I get almost run over by deers, this path, by the way. I have a video from a few years ago, and I a deer ran out really close to me, scared the bejesus out of me, and then a whole bunch more ran out. But eventually, you'll see a feral cat. He runs out of there too. I think they probably all get in that little barn area, but it's super sunny over by that way, so they do like to bed down over there. But I always tap the side of, you can't hear it obviously because I'm voicing over at this point, but I always tap really loud the side of my my leg to make them run out of there, because I learned my lesson that one day. But this kind of brings you up around the path, and we had an old horse track out here, because the horses are old retired race horses, but my husband used to have race horses for years. He grew up in it, and then we just kind of, wasn't my thing. So, but you know, unless you have like high dollar stuff, you're not doing nothing anyway. So that's the trailer we used to live in. We lived in that for 20 something years while we saved money and focused on getting this farm paid off. We paid the farm off about 6 months early in 2019. And the property that we purchased that butts up to that, which is the one we built on, we purchased that in 2012, and I wanted to make sure that we had it all paid off or very close to being paid off before we actually signed on building anything. So we only had like 2 or 3 payments left on it when we signed, and then we just ended up with a Clayton home, and I'll do a video about that one day. But we ended up moving into our new house in December of 2017. So yeah, that's. He stares out. He's amazed that I came out of the woods, but he probably saw those deer, so he's freaked out. Anyway, have a good one.